So it's that time of the year where we do a midway check-in with the running goals. So every year since around 2016, I've been setting myself running goals, things that I like to try and achieve during a calendar year. Now, last year was the first year that I did a mid-year check-in to be a little bit more mindful, remind myself what those goals are, and see if I was on track to achieving all of them, half of them, or just basically see how I was getting on. And just before we get into this video, I'm going to extend the question out to you guys. Did you set yourself running goals at the beginning of the year? If you did, how are you getting on with them? Maybe it's a chance now to reflect on what you set back in January and see how you're getting on with them. Do drop a comment below and let me know how you are getting on. So what I've done is go back through my 2024 running goals video, check what those goals are and see how I'm getting on. Now, the interesting thing in that goal video was that I actually stated that I wanted to commit to the first half of the year, but was quite loose on my plans for the second half of the year. I had vocalized that I wanted to do 2 marathons this year, and I can confirm I am sticking to that. But the reason I was a bit loose on committing to that at the beginning of the year was back in 23, I decided to completely change plans for the second half of the year and went more down the route of not a second marathon and do a 10k block during the summer, a half block until October, then some base work before going into my London training block for this year. So I actually only ended up doing 1 marathon last year. And to be fair, it ended up working really well. I got myself into really good shape, set some good PBs towards the end of last year and into the beginning of this year before it kind of went a little bit iffy. But overall, that was just the reason for me being a little bit hesitant to commit. However, as I said earlier, in previous videos this year, I have committed to a second marathon this year, Abingdon, and this was the one that I've always said I was really going to go for. So laying it out there, this is going to be my PB attempt in the marathon. I can sleep in my own bed, I can have a good routine, I can keep nice and calm in the build up to it and just drive down on the morning of. So eliminating any variables that could go wrong as best as possible. The only thing that I really can't avoid is bad weather and illness. So other than that, I'm hopefully going to have everything in my control, and that is indeed one of the boxes that I haven't yet ticked for this year. So let's go through what those 6 goals are and see how we're getting on. Now, I threw in a Brucey bonus one at the beginning of the video last time, which is to stay injury free. This isn't part of the 6 because I had such a good injury free year in 2023 that I wanted to carry that on. I saw the progress that I made just by stacking those training blocks on top of each other. And although illness kind of scuppered me for the first part of the year, I have technically stayed injury-free. I've had a few back issues, but they've not stopped me running. Just a bit of a few back spasms here and there. Bit of a weak point for me, but the strength and conditioning has really held strong. It's doing well, and it's ensured that I haven't suffered anything, oh, touch wood, major so far in terms of injury. So I'm quite pleased to report that as of halfway through the year, nothing massive has held me back in terms of injuries. So my first goal that I set myself was to run 2,700 miles, and I think at the moment I'm failing with that goal. Simple reason being, I think earlier in the year scuppered things, so I hit June the 30th on around 1,284-85-ish miles, and obviously half of 2,700 is 1,350. So I was around about 70 miles short. Now, does that come from the shortfall of running that I did during my London Marathon training block when I was a bit sick? Potentially. Is it 70 miles worth of lost mileage? I'm not quite sure. So I think I am slightly behind. I am, however, going into another marathon training block very, very soon. So I could well make that up. I am keeping my fingers crossed. Again, it all just comes down to, can I stay injury free? Because if I can stay injury free, then I think it's an achievable goal. But I am on the back foot a bit with this one. And the second one, I put myself out there. I said I wanted a PB in the 5k, 10k, half marathon and full. I've achieved the 5k so far. I haven't done the other 3. And obviously I'm hoping to do those later in the year. I mean, I'm training for a 10k PB now. Whether it will happen, I don't know. But I want to get myself in as best shape possible so that when the autumn comes, I can race quite hard after Abingdon, get some good races in November and December like I did last year, and go for those PBs and hopefully a half marathon in the build up to Abingdon, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. But at the moment, I think, if I'm honest with you, the 10k PB, I just don't think I'm ever going to get. I don't know how I ran what I ran. It just feels a million miles away from where I am. But the 5k 5k PB I'm very, very happy with. I came into this year with a PB of 16:21. I ran 16:19 at Bristol Track Club back in April, and I've now run 16:08 at Hereford last month. So I've taken a good chunk off that, and I'm very happy. I do want to try and go sub 16 at some point, and I have 2 more 5Ks coming up very soon, actually, in the next month or two. So we'll be definitely trying to get that PB down even more. The marathon, well, that's scheduled for Abingdon, so if all goes well, fingers crossed we can have a good crack at that there. So the only one that's up in the air at the moment, obviously, is the 10k and the half. The 10k, I've got 2 or 3 10ks earmarked for the rest of the year. The half is the only one that I haven't got anything concrete penciled in. And number 3 was a little bit of a blended goal, because I tend to set myself this goal where I like to achieve half of a summer series of short distance races, whether it's the Rose Inn race, the Bristol Track Club 5k, the Hereford Couriers 5k. I always want to try and get half of a series done. It's very unrealistic, usually with childcare and kids' activities and stuff, that I can do all of a series, but I just wanted to get 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 done. I failed, but the blended goal was, on top of that, was to basically race more 5Ks. My goal this year was to put myself out of my comfort zone and run more 5Ks. I just don't like them, but I have had good success this year with them, and I am starting to maybe get used to them a little bit. So I can confirm that in a way I've kind of passed that goal, because although I haven't done the series, I have achieved the goal in terms of running more 5Ks than I normally would. I've already run 3, Bristol Track Club, I've already run 2, Bristol Track Club and Hereford. I'm going to be running another one this month, which I haven't told you guys what it is yet, but I am. And I'm going to be running the Podium 5K in August. So this year I should be running 4 5Ks, which is quadruple what I normally run in a year. So that's a big, big tick. And the next goal was to enter 3 brand new races, just to branch out a little bit more, spread my wings from the southwest, or stay in the southwest and just enter new races and get out of my comfort zone a little bit more. The Dimmock 5 mile, I mean, I've run the Dimmock half before. I haven't run the 5 mile, so I'm not sure whether to count that or not. I did enter the Barcelona half marathon. Obviously I didn't run it, but I still traveled to the city and filmed the race. So I was going to do that one. And I do have 2 others booked. I mean, the Podium 5K, that's going to be a new one. Even though I went last year to film it, I'm going to be entering it this time. The 5K that I've got coming up later this month is a new one, and I do have plans later in the year to do other new ones. So again, fingers crossed, we might be on track to tick that box as well. And then the last 2 goals I set myself were more channel goals rather than running goals. And the first one was to film more races. And I've kind of achieved part of that, and I'm hoping to achieve that by the end of the year. So obviously I went out there with the purpose of trying to run Barcelona half marathon. It didn't happen, but I still produced a 3 video series of the build up, the travel over there, the build up, the expo, the race itself, and then the thoughts afterwards. So I did that, and that was great fun filming the race. Bristol Track Club in April, I also filmed. Even though I ran in the race earlier, I filmed the elite race. What else have we got? We've got the potential to film the Podium 5K Elite race, because I won't be in the Elite one. So there's going to be 3 hopefully this year that I film, and I'm hoping to film 1 more by the end of the year, just to kind of get my neck in there to do a bit more kind of filming, because I love supporting races, so that's a good one to achieve. So I am looking out for 1 more that I can go and film. And the last one was to be able to look back on 2024 and have a good balance of content on the YouTube channel itself. So I effectively said that I would love to have a great balance of running shoe reviews, running shoe comparisons, race vlogs, filming races, training, tips, and whatever else it might be. And so far, I am really happy with how things are going. I feel like I've tested around 11 or 12 shoes so far this year at the halfway point. I think in total last year, I ended up testing 27, 28, 29. So I'm a little bit down on last year, but I've done some shoe comparisons. I've done some more in-depth testing this year on the super shoes, which is something I haven't done last year. Plus, I've been producing regular training series videos every single week without fail. And regardless of what views certain videos get, I haven't been swayed to try and produce more of a certain type of video. I've tried to stick to my core values. And I say that because it's pretty obvious. If you go on the YouTube channel and have a look, the shoe reviews and that sort of stuff, they get more views than training and even the race vlogs. So it would be very easy for me to just pigeonhole the channel down that route. But I like to try and keep a broad spectrum. I love to document training, I love to film races, I love to do everything. And so I really am trying to stay in that middle ground of just being a bit of a jack of all trades YouTube channel where I can cover everything. And for me, it's enjoyable not to just be one thing, but to be able to have a wide range of things to do. So I think so far I'm on track to tick that box as well. So I think in all honesty, if I can achieve some more PBs in race distances, and I won't put pressure on myself because these are just, you know, goals that I love to set myself. If I don't achieve it, it's not the end of the world. But if I do, and if I can get at least 3 out of the 4, then I think I'll be pretty darn close to getting most of the running goals that I've set myself achieved this year. Obviously the mileage is the other one, but the 5Ks has been a massive thing and I'm very happy with that. Filming the races, everything that I've wanted to do, I'm on track to achieve. So yeah, so far so good. And that's why I extended the question to you guys. I do find it really beneficial at this stage in the year to just kind of take a step back, see where I've got to, and especially as I'm approaching the end of another training block, it gives me a chance to ease off the gas a bit and reflect and see how things have been going. So it makes a world of difference. I've enjoyed doing this and I hope you guys can sit back and have a think about your running goals, how they're doing, and as just a reminder, do drop a comment below and let me know how you're getting on. That's it from me today, guys. Next week is race week for the Saucony London 10K, so very excited for that and I hope to see some of you guys there. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.